This is Mackenzie Shirilla, a 17-year-old who was found guilty of murder after causing a car crash that killed her boyfriend and his friend.
Mackenzie decided death was the ultimate goal that day. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
Her boyfriend Dominic Russo and his friend Davin Flanagan were in the car when she crashed into the side of a commercial building outside of Cleveland at around 100 miles per hour. Both men were pronounced dead at the scene, and Shirilla survived. Prosecutors argued that the teen was in a toxic relationship and had made violent threats against her boyfriend.
Threatened his property? She threatened to break into his house?
Correct.
She threatened his property. Yes, she threatened to break into his house.
You see her driving very calmly and making the right turn, and then all evidence indicates she immediately put the pedal to the metal and drove straight into a building at 100 miles per hour. I think those really demonstrated to us that this was no accident.
It was reported that she crashed her car on purpose because she wanted to kill her boyfriend, and that his friend was just collateral damage.
Count 1. Finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo.
She then stood up to be placed in handcuffs while continuing to cry.
Count 2. Finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit Davion Flanagan.
Shirilla was given a moment to speak before her sentencing.
The families of Dom and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken.
There was no medical condition that caused this as an accident. There was no mechanical failure of the car. A failed suicide attempt is not a defense to murder. There's a very good likelihood, Mackenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison. She's sentenced on count 1, 15 years to life. Count 2, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other.
The judge sentenced her to 15 years to life in prison. Chapter 2, Aiden Fucci. This is Aiden Fucci, who pleaded guilty in court for the murder of his classmate when he was only 14 years old. We're having fun in a cop car. Yep, Fucci was classmates with a 13-year-old girl from Patriot Oaks Academy in St. Johns County, Florida. Fucci stabbed her 114 times. Her dead body was later recovered from the woods. After Fucci was arrested, he could be seen in the back of the cop car taking Snapchats. Now this video shows Fucci and his parents in the interrogation room. That Snapchat you did was not very smart. It's all over the internet. This is very serious. This is no joke. This is your whole life and ours. A video from prosecutors showed Fucci and the girl allegedly walking together right before she was murdered. Then about 90 minutes later, the video shows Fucci allegedly running away from the area where the body was found. 114 stab wounds, 49 defensive wounds, 35 wounds to the head and neck, 29 to the back and shoulder, and 6 fatal wounds. After Fucci pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, the judge handed down his sentence. Having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years. After Fucci was sentenced, he stood still with very little movement. Chapter 3, Willard Miller, Jeremy Goodale. This is Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, and at just 16 years old, they were both charged for the murder of their high school Spanish teacher. Reportedly, it was over a bad grade. We then moved her off of the trail, where I then struck her and she died as a result. Miller and Goodale went to Fairfield High School in southeastern Iowa. Nohema Grabber was the Spanish teacher at the school, and Miller was one of her students. After he received a bad grade from Grabber, he and his friend Goodale planned to kill her. Grabber went for her usual walk at Chautauqua City Park. The boys knew that, as they stalked her and waited to ambush her. Here she comes, and she walked by. I hit her in the back of the head, and then I said I should make sure she is dead, so I hit her a couple more times. They then dragged her into the woods and beat her to death with a baseball bat. After that, it wasn't really a plan beyond that, like hide the body, bury the body, save the body. At that time, we were going to hide the body, and we kind of assumed that nobody would ever find her. Not long after, both boys were arrested. Court documents alleged that a witness who knew Goodale showed law enforcement Snapchat messages that revealed Goodale and Miller's involvement in the murder. One of the Snapchat messages said, "Point of view, you're my Spanish teacher and this is the last thing you see," followed by time to hide a body. Jeremy Goodale later pleaded guilty and testified against his best friend Miller. I understood that he had the intent to kill Mrs. Grabber. What is your plea to murder in the first degree? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty. This is the moment that Goodale gets to speak before his sentence. I've had time to think on what to say, and I'm sorry, truly sorry. Every day I wish I could go back and stop myself. I can't comprehend losing a loved one in such an awful way. Now the judge hands down his sentence. The defendant shall be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Now for Miller, this is him apologizing before he receives his sentence. I would like to take this opportunity to wholeheartedly accept responsibility for the role that I've played in the murder of Nohima Grabber. To the family, I'm sincerely sorry for the distress that I've caused you and the devastation. I ask that I'm given a chance. I don't want to be institutionalized. I don't want to be in so long that I forget where I come from, and I want to look forward to getting through this. Now the judge has some final words. The defendant Willard Noble Chiden Miller shall be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 35 years. Miller seems to be completely unfazed. Chapter 4, Rachel Shoaf, Shelia, Eddy. This is Rachel Shoaf and Shelia Eddy, who are both in court today for the murder of their friend when they were only 16 years old. Their plan was to hide knives on their bodies and attack Skylar at an agreed moment in Star City, West Virginia. Shoaf and Eddy were friends with 16-year-old Skylar niece. Reportedly, Shoaf and Eddy decided they didn't like her anymore, so they planned to kill her. Shelia Eddy and Rachel Shoaf carried out that plan together. They stabbed and killed Skylar. After Shoaf's confession, both teens were arrested. Shoaf agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for her cooperation in the case. I am so sorry. I don't know if there is a proper way to make this apology because there are not even words to describe the guilt and remorse that I feel each day for what I've done. I hurt the niece family and those who love Skylar. I hurt my parents and shamed my family. May God bring eternal peace to Skylar and the entire niece family. After securing a plea deal, the judge gave Shoaf a sentence. Rachel Shoaf, it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for a period of 30 years, but you will have the possibility of parole in 10 years. Now for Eddy, it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for the rest of your natural life. That sentence is technically with mercy, which makes you eligible for parole after you have served 15 years.